This is What the Hell with Coriel, where I am breaking down the craziness that is happening on these internet streets. So, if you have been, unless you have been under a rock, you already know who this is, okay? This is our girl, Reesa Teesa, who has taken social media by storm by sharing her story, talking about the experience that she had with what I'm going to call a psychopath, a pathological liar who not goes by the name of, but who she refers to as Legion. Okay. So she ended up pre pandemic meeting Legion online on a dating website, ended up quarantining with Legion like 2 weeks later, found out that basically everything that he told her was a lie, that he was living a lie, that he was not who he claimed to be, and then, ended up marrying him. And basically the whole thing ended up being a mess and it blew up in her face. So much to unpack here, but one of the things that was crazy for me in watching this was how much I could relate to it, how many similarities I could remember from a crazy person that I was engaged to back in 2011. And so all of the comments from other women who have also found themselves caught up with a Legion, I think it's alarming. I think that we have to start dropping our 50-part breakdowns, sharing our stories, so that when other women find themselves in situations similar to this, they don't convince themselves that they are crazy, because that is why so many women stay stuck. That's why so many women find themselves in these situations that we cannot believe we got ourselves in, and then we stay in them for much longer than we should, because we're either embarrassed or we convince ourselves that we're the crazy ones, that this is so crazy, I must be crazy, because this just can't be this insane, right? My eyes must be playing tricks on me. My ears have to be lying. Like, this can't be what it really is. And so dealing with a pathological liar, which is what Legion is, which is probably what my ex-fiance was. I was 24 at the time, y'all, though. So I didn't have a vocabulary that included words like narcissist and gaslighting. I just thought this man was crazy. But apparently, he was not unique. Apparently, Legion is not unique. And so, if we are going to save ourselves from situations like this, and hopefully save our younger sisters from ever dealing with predators, pathological liars like this, then I think that it is up to us to start sharing our stories, as embarrassing as it may be. We have to start talking about some of the crazy things that we have been through, that we have put up with, so that other people can learn from our mistakes and not have to make those same mistakes and learn those same hard lessons. So shout out to you, Reesa Teesa, for telling your story. We need to start a GoFundMe for your girl, okay? We need to send Reesa Teesa to Europe. We know that she was hoping and dreaming and wishing and praying to go to London and Paris. And I just feel like if she has gotten over 1 million followers in the last week from sharing this story, we could put $1 in the pots to send her on a vacation. Okay. That's the least that we can do. But I just feel like there really needs to be some sort of support group for other women who find themselves in situations like this. Like, I know the main reason that I stayed in my situation for so long, and it was literally only 8 months from the day I met him to the day I said, I'm never going to talk to you again. And I still stayed too long. But I know that the reason I stayed so long is because I was just embarrassed. I did not want to tell anybody what this man had been doing. I was too ashamed to, talk about him punching walls and threatening to kill me and threatening to kill himself and making up these stories and gaslighting me, which is what I know now, that it was. But I was too embarrassed to talk about what he was doing, because the natural question would be, well, why are you putting up with that? Why are you still there? And I felt for a long time that I was in too deep. I was already engaged, and all of this happened really quick, which is what I feel like is a common denominator with these type of people, these pathological, predatorial people. Okay, so he definitely love bombed me. Everything happened really, really quick, so that when he started acting crazy, I was in too deep. We got engaged really, really quick. We got engaged before we even met each other's families. We met each other's families shortly after. And so by the time he started acting really, really crazy, I already had a ring on my finger. And I was 24 years old. I had already determined in my mind that by 25, I needed to be married. So I got engaged at 24. I was not trying to get unengaged at 24. Okay. I was trying to be somebody's wife by 25. And that is one of the things that Reesa said, is like, she wanted it to be her turn. Like, she got caught up in this. She wanted to believe that it was real so bad, because she wanted a relationship. She wanted companionship. She loved the thought of someone actually loving her. And so she was willing to accept the lies. She was willing to go against her gut. She was willing to convince herself that she must be the crazy one, because she did not want to face the facts. And so many of us stay stuck in these situations because we don't want to face reality. We want to believe that what we have decided in our heads is the truth. It's what it's going to be. And 9 times out of 10, that is not the case. So love bombing, somebody coming on really, really strong, way too fast, definitely a red flag. Okay. Someone who gives you that feeling where you can't quite put your finger on it, but the math ain't math and something ain't making sense. It's just something about these stories. It's something about the details. It's something about the way that you are oversharing. A lot of times, people who are dishonest actually overshare because they're trying to prove the point that they're honest people by telling you so much, by divulging so much. But the information that they're telling you is lies. It's not true. It's all to set you up to fall into the trap. And so many women fall vulnerable to these traps because men know that a lot of us have these fairy tales of riding off into the sunset with Prince Charming. So if he can just show up and act right for long enough to convince you that he could be the man that you want him to be, then you're in it. Especially if he comes along and he's saying the right things, he's doing the right things, he's spending some money. Because that's one of the reasons why Legion was able to get away with so much for so long, is because initially he had money. And so him taking care of things financially caused her to turn a blind eye to the things that weren't making sense, because she kept coming back to, oh, well, he has money. So a man using money to try to cover things or throwing money at a problem, definitely a red flag. Okay. We can all learn so much from the legions in our lives, but it is up to us to not be so ashamed and embarrassed that we have to keep it to ourselves. We, number one, have to be willing to share so that we don't stay stuck in situations like this. I, ended up in an abusive relationship, and I definitely think that being a pathological liar and creating a whole entire life that's a lie, that's definitely some type of abuse. Okay, definitely. But I was in a physically, emotionally, mentally, just all of the abuse relationship. And again, everybody doesn't get out because they're too embarrassed to talk about what they're doing. And so I know for a fact, had I not opened my mouth and told my best friend eventually what I had been going through and what this crazy man had been doing, I don't know how much, how long I actually would have stayed in it, because I wasn't telling anybody about it. And so when we perpetuate this theory of keeping things to yourself, what happens in your house stays in your house, your business is your business, don't have people up in your relationship, definitely don't have people in your marriage. Yes and no. Because when we have that blanket statement of your business is your business. If you find yourself in an abusive situation and you don't know how to get out, or you're unsure if this could be abuse, but you believe that your business is your business, who do you turn to for help? Who's your trusted person who you can confide in, who can be a source for you, who can be a resource for you, who can, come and pick you up in the middle of the night if that's what it comes down to. So much to unpack here. This is gonna be, it ain't gonna be 50 parts, but this is gonna be part one of just several lessons that we can learn from Legion and his lion ass. If you are not all caught up on all 50 parts of Who the Fuck Did I Marry, I'm going to link it down below. Go get caught up. I'm actually going to link the YouTube version so that you don't have to go out and keep clicking in on TikTok like most of us had to do when we were watching it in real time. But check it out. Let me know down below. Have you dealt with a legion in your life? Have you found yourself in a situationship with a narcissistic crazy person? If so, what were the red flags? What is your big lesson learned? Like, share some advice that can hopefully help someone who might find themselves in a similar situation. I'll catch y'all on the next episode of What the Hell with Coriel.